Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And as promised, we are going to talk about Wild today. There's been a lot of people just complaining, particularly on Twitter, a lot of Wild content creators just feeling burnt out, not wanting to play Wild already, like just days into the expansion. I've seen clips of Raffle losing it, and I want to go into some suggestions on how I feel it could be better. There are some signs of like other archetypes kind of popping up with the new expansion. We'll talk about that as well. And I also want to just thank everybody for the insane support again. Well, like the news update video yesterday, I said we're at 39,000 as of recording this. We're at 39.1. We're getting close to 40K. If you guys keep hitting that button, we're going to get to 40K by the end of the year. That would be amazing. So again, I know I'm harping on it, but it would be just such an amazing, awesome accomplishment and the best holiday gift I could possibly ask for if we can get there. So keep hitting that button. I would really appreciate it. So yeah, Wild's been plagued since United in Stormwind with one of the least diverse metas we've ever seen, and it's particularly been around three classes. It's been around Hunter, Warrior, and Warlock. And Warlock's actually fallen off quite a bit. It's mostly been lately Warrior and Hunter. And with Warrior, it's around the Pirate quest, and Hunter, it's around the Dwarven District quest, which you use with Baku, and it just does an insane amount of damage. You have Raza Anowin on curve every single time, and you kind of just win. Those have been the decks, and as well with Warlock, you have like Even Lock and Pain Warlock, or Dark Lair Lock that doesn't run Dark Lair. I like calling it Pain Warlock, and that's been it. There's been very, very little diversity. Since Alterac has launched, that's basically remained true. However, Shaman and Paladin have kind of emerged a little bit. We've seen Free Shaman, like, you know, the whole Free Shaman with Shudderwalk become a legitimate deck, and we've seen I guess some like hand buff Paladin stuff working. But other than that, you have no control. You have basically half the classes are pretty much unplayable, and then you also have the elephant in the room, which is apprentice decks like Mizaki Mage or the, you know, infamous Ignite Mage. I feel like Wild is just going to be in this perpetual state of those top decks dictating literally everything, and the other decks being basically completely unplayable unless you're lucky to get that right matchup. And I have a few suggestions I feel that would help Wild a lot, and I'm kind of just playing the Blizzard to at least consider them. I'm not saying to implement them, but I would like them to consider them. I've talked to several Wild players, content creators about it, and they have agreed. A lot of them have agreed on most of these. So let's talk about what are the big changes that I think could help Wild a lot. So first would be to ban both the Hunter and Warrior quest lines, make them ineligible. This is like the easiest shortcut of a fix for these decks. With Warrior, if you were to nerf the deck, you would have to, well, nerf the quest first off, because that would, but they don't want to do that because that would nerf the standard deck. You'd probably have to nerf Ankar because that's one of the strongest cards in the deck. It's guaranteed to draw it. You probably have to nerf Defias Cannoneer, which I don't think they want to do because that's a standard card. And you probably even have to nerf like Ship's Cannon. Like, you'd have to nerf so many cards to make that Warrior deck kind of reasonable with the Warrior quest as is. It's just not gonna happen. So I would just like to see the Warrior quest line banned. For Hunter as well, you could just take the route of nerfing the twin spell, the 1-mana twin spell, and make it like 2 mana, deal 2 for each one, kind of reminiscent of Twin Slice to an extent. That could help, but I feel like you're just going to have problems because of Baku. Baku is just always going to make that quest really good because you have 0 mana, deal 3. That's like 10% of your opponent's health every single time. So I feel like more than anything, nerfing these two quest lines would let a lot of other decks breathe. I was thinking about, well, if you nerf these, maybe Warlock's too good, and then you have to nerf Warlock as well, or ban a card for Warlock. However, you nerf Hunter in, especially Hunter, then all of a sudden you can play decks like Priest. You can play other classes that can actually contest Warrior and Warlock. So I probably would not hit Warlock outside of that. But if I was to ban a card from Warlock and Wild or nerf something, I would just ban Raise Dead, because it creates such problems with the whole pain strategy with Even Lock. But that would be really not cool, because then you're taking it away from Reno Lock and all these other cool decks that should have Raise Dead. So I don't like that solution, but it was a thought I had. There's two other cards though that I do think for the health of Wild would be helpful, and I'll talk about the first and the least likely to happen, but banning Celestial Alignment. I would love to see it get nerfed in Standard, and if they nerfed it in Standard, then you wouldn't have to ban it in Wild. But if you would ban it in Wild, you would not have to worry about, you know, the Mana Saber card, Bio Project, all these ridiculous cards that make alignment just so busted in Wild, way more busted than it is in Standard. Plus you have like Lady Anaconda and Overflow, which Overflow is not in Standard, and it's just so abusable. There's so many disgusting things, and it's just one of those super polarizing, unfun things. And we got a card like Guff. I just want to see Guff flourish, and it would be really cool to see 20 mana combos rather than just play alignment and then play 20 mana combos that way, right? Like, that just doesn't feel like the proper way of doing it, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't see it happening, but I'm throwing it out there. But the one that I would like to see the most, this is the online or in line for me with the Pirate and Warrior Quest, is a fundamental change to Sorcerer's Apprentice. And I'm going to go with two suggestions. The first one is the one that everybody says all the time, we've been asking for years. And as for Sorcerer's Apprentice, to reduce spells to one less, but not less than one. That's the simplest fix. You can't have 0 mana spells with Apprentice. It'll kill the card. It'll kill the card, but you can't do all the, you know, the disgusting things, the infinite ignite strategies, all of that. However, I'll go with a suggestion I think I first heard from Martian Boo, Wild content creator, that you make Sorcerer's Apprentice 4 or like 5 mana. Like not 3, but like 4 or 5. Make her ridiculously expensive so that she can't be played in these cheap combo decks that will just combo like that. You could still work with her though, with like Emperor Thorson, Drakari Enchanter, things like that, and make her viable potentially for Exodia with Antonidas, because that's a beloved combo that people love to do, the whole 4 girls Antonidas Exodia combo. And if you nerf not less than 1, that'll never happen, and you're effectively killing her anyways by having spells not less than 1. So why not just bump her to 4 mana, where you can still kind of do that, but it's not competitive. It would not, I don't think it'd be competitive at 4 mana. Like, you have to cheat, you know, it would just slow it down so much. So Apprentice just leads to horrible toxic experiences, especially with people cheating the game because of animation timing and all this. She has been a problem in Wild forever and ever, and I feel like changing her, nerfing her to 4 mana, it would just probably be the best way to go. And, you know, it's in line with Bloodbloom, if you think about Bloodbloom. And I think with these changes, and it's not that many changes, honestly, I think Wild would have a very fresh meta. Things would be very different, and would hopefully, I'm hoping, would let for a lot of other strategies to flourish, and it would just be so cool to play Wild without those quest lines, without Apprentice the way she is. You know, I think that would make for a really fun Wild experience. It might end up being a disaster. You never know, but how else do you know without trying? We know how the way it is right now is really not great, and a lot of people are being driven away. So why not take a little bit of a risk and give a major patch, Wild-centric patch, not affecting Standard in any way with any of these changes, and see how it goes. So it's my plea to Blizzard. Please consider these changes. I know a lot of people in Wild would appreciate. Of course, you might disagree. You might agree. So let me know in the comments below what you would like to see happen in Wild. But I think these are reasonable. I hope you guys think they are, and maybe Blizzard will consider some of them and do something about it, because I love the Wild format. I have played it since its inception, but man, it's really, really rough to play it these days. And I just feel like this would spice it up and make it a lot more interesting and hopefully better in the long run. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.